Good evening. This is David Lynn, and you are watching Taco Talk live. This is a Friday evening edition on May the 30th, 2025. Good evening, Enrique. Thank you for the first like. Rachel, mom of four boys. Hello. Welcome to Taco Talk. I hope y'all had a wonderful week. And I appreciate you coming in. Well, this was the last day of my contract for this year. Idaho Garden Girl, welcome. Thank you for coming. I hope you're doing well, Stephanie. Thank you for coming in. And thank you for like number 3. I am drinking Taster's Choice coffee. I think I'm older than a lot of people in here right now. I think maybe you don't remember some of the commercials, but there were commercials back in the day, like Folgers was handpicked by Juan Valdez, the little guy at the bureau. Maxwell House was good to the last drop. Well, I like to say good to the last drop. Melinda Elliott, welcome, Melinda. I'm not drinking Maxwell House, but what I am drinking is good to the last drop, and I am drinking some instant coffee, little stick coffee that I purchased. It's very inexpensive. I get it usually, I either order it online from Amazon or I get it over at Walmart. You get like a 6-pack of it for about $1.20. This is Taster's Choice. A medium roast coffee. It's very good. I truly enjoy it. 6 in the house. And 5 likes. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you guys immensely. So as I was saying, this was the last day of my contract for the school year. I'll now be off for a little over 2 months. A little over 2 months. And I'm tired. I was telling people today I felt like going home and sleeping for a week. I stayed till 3:30. I'm what's called a retiree hire, so they make me clock in and out. So I have to clock 8 hours a day, and we talk 40-hour weeks. This week we were off Monday, so I had to clock 32 hours. So today I came in, I clocked in at 7, and I had to stay till about 3:30 to clock with my 32 hours because of my hours. So I left it at 3:30. They were letting people go if you got the principal sign you out at 2 o'clock, and I didn't leave until 3:30. It is what it is. Belinda's Country Living, welcome and thank you for coming, Belinda. Appreciate you. Just talking about the end of the school year. Listening to people excited. A lot of people trying to figure out where they're going to be next year. A lot of people leaving. A lot of openings. A lot of the people that they've been hiring are studying to be teachers. They're trying to get their degrees. They're trying to get their certifications. They're not qualified, but they're hiring them and they pay them at a reduced amount. And they've got a certain amount of time to finish get certified. So, it is what it is. And the campus I work at is one of the campuses is tougher. Their demographics are tough. The you know the number of most of the kids, their parents, are below the poverty level for a family of four. Not a really good situation, and the campus just what they call low performing. And I'm drinking coffee. Today I was deprived. Normally I go to school, I get there, and I've got a coffee maker, I've got a Keurig, and I've got a microwave, and I can go in and I can make coffee. I've got a refrigerator, and I can go in and make coffee and put creamer in it and eat my breakfast taco or whatever. And we cleaned out yesterday, so no coffee maker, no refrigerator, no microwave. I ate my taco and just basically, I hadn't brought any coffee with me. I did have 2 cups of coffee before I went to school this morning, but I didn't bring any coffee with me, and I didn't. So this is my 3rd cup of the day, and I'm drinking some Taster's Choice little stick coffee, the medium roast. It's good coffee. It was horrible, Enrique. It was horrible. I'm glad you're drinking coffee too. Coffee represents civilization. Coffee represents civilization. Yeah, I can't do without coffee either. Like for supper, I came home, I was tired. My daughter came by with her husband. I spent a few minutes with my daughter. Then my wife was showing her things that she'd been doing to our new trailer. The kid was tired, not in a good mood. My wife's not happy because the kid, she said, she gave me an attitude, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, she's tired. She didn't sleep well last night. She's like me, she's tired. And wife's butthurt about it. But, she's had a long week. She works as a counselor. She has to deal with unpleasant things sometimes. She's stressed out. I'm the same way. I work with behaviorally challenged students. And, I get stressed out a lot too. I'm tired and getting older. And I need my time off. I'll be happy for my month off. Or my 2 months, actually. No, I haven't. I enjoy watching women's basketball. I do enjoy watching basketball. I don't really enjoy watching the guys. I enjoy watching the girls. I follow that phenomenon called Caitlin Clark. She was Iowa. Played in last year. I think she was Rookie of the Year last year, and she set some scoring records and all sorts of stuff. And it seems like everybody's hating on her. A lot of the people are hating on her. A lot of the players are hating on her, and they take it pretty rough on her. I watch a lot of highlights from games. I don't really watch full games, but I'll watch a lot of highlights. And like they make her out like she never misses a shot. Well, she misses shots. She misses shots, but she's got a real good shooting percentage. She hits a lot of these 3-pointers from way back where, and they call her like the Steph Curry of the WNBA. I watch a lot of that, Joseph. Hello, Uncle Al, by Bullfrog79. Thank you for coming in. 8 in the house. and 7 likes. So, well, we're going to start hurricane season. June the 1st starts hurricane season. So Sunday is the official start of hurricane season. If you live along the Gulf Coast, if you live along the east coast of the Atlantic, um, you know, gotta worry about storms. You gotta worry about storms over in your side of the on the left coast, Uncle Al. Worrying about storms. A lot of tornadoes. A lot of tornadoes. Tornado damage. People have been dying from tornadoes. You know, we are right in Tornado Alley. And some of those serious tornadoes are just wrecking things. Yeah, that's a big rivalry. Oklahoma and Texas, it's a big rivalry. Yeah, California has to worry about socialist and poorly run, poorly run government and fire. Yeah, no water to put them out. I know. So I came home and I took care of the beard. I left a little bit of goatee, and I left the mustache. And I still need to work on it. Need to shave the head and clean it up and all. I'll worry about that tomorrow. So this is just like an open forum tonight. I don't have any specific agenda to talk about other than, you know, what's going on in my life, what's going on in your lives. I will say this: I have been letting my channel rest, my main channel rest, and I was at 1903, 1,903 subscribers when I let it rest, start letting it rest 3+ weeks ago. And I said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and let it rest for the month of May, and then I'll go back to it in June. Right now I'm at 1,899. I lost 4 subscribers, slowly dribbling down, people leaving me. And then my backup channel, which has basically been one where I save material in case something happens to my main channel, I've used it very little. I basically was using it prior to my wife's most recent bout starting in September of health issues. I've been using it. I would do playlists and give me playtime. Overnight, I'd run, you know, play stuff overnight. And so I started with 61 subscribers when I started this about 3 weeks ago. And right now it's sitting at 76. I said it'd be nice if I got up to 100 because I'll do a 100 subscriber giveaway when I hit 100. And it's sitting at 76. And then, of course, when my main channel, which I'll be going back to in a few days, when my main channel hits 2,000, I will do a 2,000 subscriber giveaway on it. And in order to qualify, you all should know, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, and I think everybody here right now probably should know this, but when my channel hits that number, I will look at the last video that I will have done. I'll write down all the names of people who have left me nice supportive comments, hopefully left a like, and then I'll go back 4 videos, and if you've left me a like and supportive comment on each of those last 5 videos that I will have released, then your name will be in the hat. and somebody will get a nice goodie box when I draw the name from the hat. And the last time there were 10 people that qualified. Enrique qualified twice because he has two different channels that he supports me on. So Enrique Trevino on KL and Dad, he's got another one that goes by Dad. Uh, and he qualified two channels. And he did not win, but I keep offering him a goodie box if he'll just send me, email me. He said, only if I win, only if I win. Well, maybe he'll win, one of these upcoming ones because I'll get there on both of those in the next couple of months, hopefully. And he says, if I win, you can send me a goodie box. Well, I've offered to send him one if he'd email me his mailing address, and he hasn't done it. He said, no, only if I win. So I respect that. Little Lone Prepper. Hello, Little Lone Prepper. And you have an ace bandage on your ankle, Uncle Al? Well. Hey, retirement days. I didn't notice you coming in. I'm sorry. I saw somebody said Betty. I said, oh, that's retirement days somewhere in there. So I went back and I saw where you came in. Hello. Please leave a like and a supportive comment, and I will certainly appreciate it. 9 likes. 7 in the house. 10 likes? Well, that's good. 10 likes. Thank you, Uncle Al. There was a time, if you go back far enough, you can see where I'd get 250 or 300 views on a live stream. I'd have 250, 300 people come through a live stream. Now, 50, and a lot of those are just lurkers, maybe 50, 40, 50. On my main channel, on the backup channel, maybe 25. This channel where I'm right now, maybe 25 people. A lot of people don't know that I'm using this channel, and I have not reached out. The growth I've experienced on the channel is basically when people coming to me. I'm not, reaching out to them. They're coming to me. And basically it's, my job, and my get up and make tacos and then go to school and be at school all day and then come home and fix supper, and that kind of stuff. So I get a little bit more effort on my channel on weekends, when I'm off. So I'm going to be off for 2 months, so I'm really going to start putting time into. There's a bunch of stuff I want to shoot, I want to show, stuff that's preparedness related, survivalist related stuff that I want to shoot. I want to shoot some stuff on how to use some of the stuff that I've got that I show you. Well, I want to do some reviews, food reviews and such. Those tend to get pretty good numbers. If I show you how to use a stove, or if I show you how to, do something, those tend to get better numbers than. I don't know. It's like certain things get lots of, just like shorts. Certain things I can put up and do, and it'll get 1,000 views or more. Others, might get 30 or 40. It just depends. I do clinkers, where it's like, wow, that didn't do anything, that didn't get any traction. And then other things will, blow up. I don't know. For those of you just coming in, I am drinking Pacer's Choice stick coffee. And Walmart CEO of Walmart said, "Well, prices are going up. Prices are going to go up with all the, all the tariffs and everything and whatnot." Those tariffs are bringing in lots of money to the government. At one time, the government existed on tariffs. There wasn't any income tax. I've talked about the history of that, I think. Um, World War One, when we entered World War One, in order to pay for the war, the government instituted a 1% income tax. 1% for the length of the war, for our involvement in the war. 1%, and there were people that were concerned that 1% income tax was too much. And after the war, they repealed it. And then it wasn't until FDR came in. You had the stock market crash of '29. You had the Great Depression, all through the '30s up until the start of the war, World War II. And it was during that period that the income tax was instituted. And they instituted the income tax to bring in more money for all these programs that they put forth. Excuse me. All these works programs and trying to put people back to work and trying to, build, build things. And then the war, all the construction, all the building for the war. So ever since World War II, or ever since the Great Depression in the '30s, that's when the permanent income tax came about. And there are places where you got state income. I would not want to live in a state that's got a state income tax. There are cities that have income tax. So you've got states where, and I'm not mentioning them because I don't want to get everybody upset with me if you live there, but there are states where, okay, we've got the federal income tax. Then you got a state income tax. And then you've got a city tax, income tax. And we're not even talking about the sales tax. Where I live in Texas, we've got a state sales tax. There's no state income tax. I don't believe there are any cities that have income taxes. This is Texas, There's some blue cities in Texas, but they don't have a city income tax. Property taxes are, woof, as far as I'm concerned. Good to the last drop. Seven in the house. VEO3 is Virtual Environment Operational System 3, Rachel. We have tax on everything. Yeah, we do. A day in the life. Well, I asked which of my thumbnails, did they like the orange one or did they like the green one? People liked the green one. There was a vote. One person voted orange, everybody else voted green. And so the thumbnail I've been using for my taco talk is a green one. It's one I put up like I do my community wall post that I did today. I linked like 20 channels. And these are all really good supportive channels. They take time out of their busy lives and they come visit me. I try to give them back as much as I can. And so I've been trying to support people that I work with. I've got 2 paraprofessionals. One of them is going to be teaching this next year. I had a paraprofessional get her degree, her bachelor's degree, in December, and they hired her to teach social studies 6th grade for the second semester. She went and she interviewed this afternoon for a special education position over at one of our elementary schools, and she's going to be teaching 5th grade special ed. And these are like kids to me, 30, 31 years old, like could very, very easily, I try to father them, or uncle them, or whatever you want to call it, and mentor them. And good, very, very nice, young, intelligent young people. Certainly a lot better with computers than I am. When I have something I need, involving computers, or my paraprofessional is the one that's making these thumbnails for me. She's made me several really nice thumbnails. And, I mean, they got the, they know what they're doing. And yeah, there is tax on everything, like property tax. They don't raise the rate, they raise the assessment. I will be 65 in a couple of years, and when I turn 65, they will freeze the increases. So they're trying to, every year they stick me. They keep raising the, they raise the valuation on my property. And they're going to get to the point where, they can only do that a couple more times, because I'll be turning 65. When I turn 65, it freezes. But then they have it so high, And yes, I could sell the property for more than what they have it listed, but I mean, they're just really gouging me. So what I plan to do is that after I turn 65, I plan on selling this place. It's a nice home, This is not my forever home, and I plan on selling it. And then I'm going to go buy a place that needs to be a fixer-upper. A nice place, but a fixer-upper. One, built whenever, that needs to be updated. I'm going to get it for a good price. And that's what they're going to have to value the property at. And they won't be able to go up on it because I'll be over 65. And then I'll, do whatever repairs I need to do, and they won't be able to raise it. They won't be able to raise it, So that's my game plan. Well, yes, your forever home should be heaven. That's true. That's true, Enrique. And I'm sure it will be. I tell people every day, when I do my live streams, or when I do my, I tell people, thank God for the day. Say the Lord's Prayer every morning. Thank God for the day. You don't know how many days you have. When you don't wake up, you won't know it until you're standing before the Lord on Judgment Day. So thank God for the day. And, pray. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be a good Christian. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Lead by example. Teach younger people. Set an example for them. Be kind to older people. One day you'll be old. I used to think about that when I was a kid. I can remember back when I was a kid thinking about one day I will be old. If I live to be old, I'll be old. And I used to think about that when I'd see older people. And I could question a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I don't question anymore. I used to question a lot of stuff. And be thankful for what you have. If you have good health, be thankful for your health. Try to eat healthy. Don't abuse your body. Don't cash checks with your body that your health can't handle. Painkillers. Okay. My wife takes painkillers. I take an anti-inflammatory for my arthritis, and it really takes care of it once a day. I've been taking it for several years, and it takes care of it. And my wife started taking the same one that I'm taking. Um, One of the things I give people that I know, and I've done that for several people recently, I give them Bibles. I like to give the NIV, the New International Version. I give them what's called a Haley Study Bible. There used to be, and there still is, the Haley Bible Handbook. And it is a compiled reference of scripture information, explanation, documentation, historical explanation. It's a study reference to give you more information on scriptures and what they're talking about in the times and all that sort of stuff. And when I was young, and we're talking 40 some odd years ago, when I started college, I took classes through Howard Payne, theology classes. And we used a New International Version, NIV, and then we had a Haley Bible Handbook as a reference that they recommended we use. So a few years back, Haley started making the Haley Study Bible, which is the NIV and the Haley Bible Handbook combined into one. And that's something that I give to people. When I give them scriptures, I give them that. I gave my daughter one. I gave my son-in-law one. Earlier this week, I gave one of my paraprofessionals one. I got everybody to sign the front of it, the presentation page. Got a bunch of signatures for her. And I'd done that for another paraprofessional. And I part of my former ministry with the Gideons, when I was really active with the Gideons. Yeah, it's the gift. It's a gift that I give people. Uncle Al should be medicated now. 8 in the house. And somebody said 10 likes. I'm seeing 9, but I'll trust you. It's probably right at 10. But that's something that I give. And I used to give them little pocket testaments. Little the New Testament plus Psalms and Proverbs. Little pocket testaments. We'd get like cases of 100, and we'd go and we'd give them out, distribution, we'd do distributions and give them out. And I'd keep them on hand, the little ones, and we'd give the red ones to the little kids and everything, red colored ones to the little kids. We used to give them out to 5th graders. When they got to 5th grade, we'd do distributions, we'd give them out when I was with Gideons. But I'm no longer active with Gideons International. I got burned out. And I used to catch hail from the cabinet state cabinet. I had a member that was always tattling on me. I would get, I'd have people that were well-to-do that would periodically give me like $1,000 check, and it's tax deductible. They give me $1,000 check or whatever. They say you need scriptures here, and I would deposit it in our local account, and I would use it to buy scriptures locally. And what the Gideons want is any money that you bring in, they want you to send 60% of it to the International in Tennessee. The International main headquarters for Gideons International is in Tennessee. And they would want us to send 60%. Well, we would go speak at a church and we'd take an open Bible offering. 60% of it would go to Tennessee. But then I had people, as a matter of fact, one of them was a Gideon. And we would need scriptures locally, and we weren't bringing in quite enough money. And I had to go to people I'd go to, and they'd write me a check. And they said, well, this is going to go for this hotel, or this is going to go for this is going to go for something locally. I said, yeah. Well, I had an old boy who would tattle on me. Well, he didn't send 60% of that to the office in Tennessee, the International. And no, I didn't, because the person said they wanted that to be spent totally locally. And it was spent on Bibles. And they were placed, and, we'd go and we'd place scriptures in the hospitals. We got a couple of hospitals here locally, and they would let us go. A couple times a year we'd go over and we'd make sure that we had scriptures in the rooms. Go to doctors' offices and leave scriptures, any medical facilities and such. And that stuff's expensive, trying to keep the hotels, supplied and all. They'd open up a new hotel or whatever, and you'd have 100 and some odd rooms, and you got full-size Bibles. That's not cheap. And I just got burned out. I quit. I stayed a member, but I just stopped being active. And I used to go to the cabinet meetings at the state. I was an area director, and I'd go to the cabinet meetings, and they'd have them different places. Several times I went up to Dallas, and went to Houston and Galveston. They'd have like a state convention, and I'd go different places. San Antonio, or usually in big cities, Corpus, and they'd rotate them around different places. Anyway, and I've been active in church. I'm not really active right now. I haven't been going to church. My wife goes when she can. I used to, but I hadn't been, I used to be on the church board, to vote you into, church board with the church elder and everything on the church board. And we'd meet like once a week, and we'd go over expenses, and meet with the pastor and go over, expenses and stuff that the pastor needed, and just got burned out. And I got my time in over 30 years, and I retired. Get a retirement check from the state, for education. Then I'm trying to get my quarters in now, so I'll be able to get Social Security. I need 6 more quarters. Then I'll qualify for Social Security. And and it won't be that much. Minimum is 40 quarters. It won't be that much, but it'll be something. It'll just add to my state retirement. And then I'll qualify for Medicare, because even as a teacher, you pay into Medicare. We're paid into Medicare, but teachers do not pay into Social Security. But I've got enough quarters, just about, from other things that I've done. And then once I retired and I came back and started teaching, I'm paying into Social Security. So now I'm paying into Social Security. Every month, a certain amount goes to Social Security, from my paycheck. Yeah, you talk about your faith. I grew up. My mother and her people are Catholic, and my father's people are Baptist. And my father was a Baptist, and my mother was a Catholic, so it's a mixed marriage. Well, when they had me, my mother went to the convent, and she went through Catholic school. Um, it's a very good education. I mean, all different denominations will send their kids to the Catholic private school to get a better education. Even the Jewish kids. When I was in school, we had Jewish kids that went to our Catholic school. They don't give them the religious training. They don't take the religious course, but you know, excellent education. And I was educated and graduated from a Catholic school, Carnarvon Academy. And as an adult, I basically practiced my father's faith. So, I baptized Baptist and attended Baptist church. My wife's Baptist. Might be Hispanic, but it's Hispanic Baptist. Baptist. My kid that's with me that I raised. She's Baptist. You know, married by a Baptist pastor. Her father-in-law actually is a Baptist pastor at the church that we're members of that I haven't been attending. But you know, just it is what it is. Just it is what it is. Part-time planting. Hello, part-time planting. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I agree with you, Enrique. And as my wife and I, we have attended churches in different denominations. Um, when we moved to Victoria 20 years ago, there's a Church of the Nazarene right down the street from us, and they were very kind to us and took us in. And I attended there we attended there as a family for several years, and I used to be on the church board there. And we attended a Pentecostal church, apostolic Pentecostal church for several years. Friends there, and we would visit there and we'd attend. And then we're members over at Northside. When we lived in Corpus, we were members of Lexington uh, Baptist, and you know. But I mean, I grew up going to part-time planning. Mom of four boys. Rachel, you got married in the Nazarene church? Yeah. Um, I can say a lot about the way things are. Um, we stopped attending the Nazarene church because there was like a sort of a little bit of an issue. The pastor of the church left. He was a former Marine. He had been a Marine. Well, actually, they say, what's a Marine? Always a Marine. But he was out of the military and he was a Marine. And he moved, and they moved back east, to Louisiana. They were families from Louisiana. They moved back to Louisiana and took a small church in Louisiana. So we had to call a new pastor. And we wanted to get an older, established, pastor. And the younger folks in the church, and there was a few more of them, the older people, the people who paid the bills, the younger people weren't the ones that paid the bills, Older folks were the ones that paid the bills. Well, we wanted to get somebody a little bit more established, and a little bit older, more grounded. And they wanted this young guy. And, like late 30s, I guess, and he was, I think, he was all into the music ministry. He was into young music. He was into the type of stuff that they play on the radios now. The you know very trendy church music, and he was real big into that. His big thing was the church music. He loved the music and played guitar and loved the music. Well, down the road, he started fooling around with a couple of ladies in the church, a couple of married ladies in the church. Big scandal. Big scandal. Really hacked off a lot of the money, which left, and big scandal in that church, and we left. So a polar blast this week. Weekend, Missouri and Oklahoma tornadoes, yes. The thief on the cross didn't get baptized or take communion or tithe. He just believed in Jesus as Savior. That's true. That's true. That's true. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Enrique. So anyway, 10 in the house and 10 likes, and somebody said 11. So tomorrow is the last day of the month. I think Sunday I will transition back to my main channel. I will do a live stream tomorrow on this channel, my backup channel, and then I'll let y'all know. And then Sunday I anticipate going back to my main channel because it will be a new month, and I'm gonna go back to working on my main channel. And I have accomplished some with the backup channel. I have grown it. It's sitting at 76 right now. Yes, history of the church. The first 3 centuries of the church was illegal. In the Roman Empire, it was a persecuted, illegal. It was a minority religion, and all of the apostles except for one were basically executed. John, who basically wrote the revelations of Jesus Christ through John, he wrote that. He, little old man, quite aged, in exile on the Isle of Patmos, he wrote the last book in the canon of the Bible. Anyway, so this turned out to be, what was the topic tonight? Well, we talked about faith, and you had me give some of my testimony, But anyway, I am off for the summer vacation. I'll be off for the next 2 months. And there are adventures to come. And I appreciate everybody here who's supporting me. Tomorrow, I will be back for another live stream. And I will probably be live streaming, several days a week, all through the summer. I'm going to try to put out some shorts and try to put out some videos, and I'm going to try to get back to my news, Coffee Talk News. It's been a while since I've done a Coffee Talk News. I got some stuff I want to cover. And I do plan on getting some rest this summer, Enrique. Oh yes, the Lord is alive. The Lord is alive. He's God, One more thing I'll tell you, contemplating. He always was and he always will be. I learned that a long time. I used to think about that strongly. Everything has a beginning, doesn't it? I can understand he'll always will be because he's God. But didn't he have a beginning too? And I used to think about that, and I'd ask, how was God created? you know, which I guess you consider, you know, blasphemy or whatever. But I'd ask that question, you know, what was God's beginning? You know, always was. Wow. I'm just trying to, my small brain trying to contemplate that. So anyway, I appreciate those of y'all who came in today. Let me just go through this list. Enrique Trevino, Rachel, Mama Four Boys, Idaho Garden Girl, Stephanie, Melinda Elliott, Joseph Moore, Belinda's Country Living, Uncle Al, Bullfrog 79, Little Lone Prepper, Pre-Retirement Days, and Part-Time Planning. Barbara, thank you all for coming. Betty, and I don't, Part-Time Planning, I don't know your name. At least I don't remember it. I'm sorry. But I think I know everybody else's name. But thank you all for coming. And I will plan on posting about tomorrow. I'll have a topic tomorrow. Something will come up, or Uncle Al will give me Peter. Okay, thank you, Peter. And we will have to talk gardening, part-time planning. We will have to talk gardening. All right, so when you get up in the morning, thank God for the day. Say the Lord's Prayer. Take your medication if you take medication. Drink your coffee. Get right in your head for the day. Try to be a light to those around you. Lead by example. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Are you prepared? Are you prepared? We're going to be having our hurricane season starting Sunday. And everybody, please have a blessed day. And we will see you again, hopefully tomorrow, for another edition of Taco Talk. Thank you. Bye-bye. Appreciate you guys. God bless.